How are you? Are you still okay? I would like to know first if there are Filipino participants right now. Yeah, over there. How many of you? I would like to acknowledge the Filipino participants and of course the speaker when we arrive. I'm so happy to see faces with a good condition today. Good morning. To my fellow academicians from across the global, esteemed speakers, our diligent organizers, guests, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good day to one and all. Good morning. Sorry for my eye irritation. I tried my best to be with you today despite of my condition because I pledge my honor to the organizers. Wantisa Kran Dukhan. Sorry, I'm not really expert to the Thai language, but I tried to greet you. It is truly a remarkable experience to be able to join and speak before a distinguished assembly of scholars in this fifth iteration of International Conference on Media Science Digital Communication by the International Institute of Knowledge and Management. But I would like to inform you, my dear scholars and colleagues, I'm just only sharing to you what I had my experience as Port University President, Philippines. Interconnected and digital age. We hear them open because they are the two undeniable truth of time. Almost every part of the global has a direct line to any point anywhere, and more than 70% based on statistica.com 2023. Of the world's population is actively using or at least have been exposed to digital technologies. I want to see first the semiotics that being posted on the screen. Engineer Richard, you are acknowledged. And with that simple statistical statement, we are faced with one of the most pressing issues of our time today, and perhaps of the century: misinformation, disinformation, fake news. It has got too many names, but as its root, it is but plain irresponsibility, both on the side of the consumer and the content provider. For all intents and purposes of my discussion today, voice means one's ability to express themselves in the digital setting, while noise refers to misleading and deceptive use of the voice. Everybody say the word voice. Again, noise. And we must distinguish between voice and noise because I will be dealing more connotation and denotations about social media. Especially we are offering in our university, Bulacan State University, Philippines, Manila, and we are serving 45,000 students and 1,870 faculty members and non-teaching personnel. I am dealing dilemmas and problems every day through the social media. So as we stand at the crossroads of innovation in media and communication, and the tradition of having only reputable sources broadcast information, we discuss a theme that is no longer theoretical but is something that we experience that this very moment. A word reimagined. Again, a word reimagined as posted. Media and communication in a word reimagined is not merely a topic for academic papers. It is now, and it is observable, or it is raw, complex, and sometimes chaotic reality we live through every single day. At the Bulacan State University in the Philippines, an institution that is dedicated to the civic improvement of our country, I am a witness of this reimagining as it unfolds across that screen, the monitors of our over 45,000 students and faculty. In this reimagined world, one assertion stands above the rest, that the foundations of communications have been reforged, broken, and made anew. What we now face is the new force that shape our society and even democracy. The amazing and at the same time worrying power of the democratized voice, set against the relentless and rising threat of underregulated digital noise. Sitting the center of my speech for today is the postulation that we have reached critical mass or digital media and the freedoms it affords us today. We have enough freedom in forms of communication. What we need now are mechanisms to manage how we utilize this freedom. As I have mentioned earlier, my dear colleagues, the power to broadcast information belongs to the few. For the better part of the past 100 years, what I am referring to are the big media networks of our countries. Even though most of them are private corporations whose board of directors decides what is seen and heard. Because they operate on a national level, they also maintain a level of credibility about their programming and the type of content they produce. Today, this is no longer the case. The power to broadcast to a mass audience now belongs to almost everyone. And you are part of my speech. From seasoned journalists shifting to new platforms, to the new generation of so-called video bloggers or bloggers, and every individual who holds a mobile device capable of sending and receiving information. And rightly so, we celebrated this profound demarginalization as it is an undeniable triumph of freedom, accessibility, and promise that technology can empower citizens to effect social change at the grassroots level. However, this celebration must be tempered with the recognition that it comes with a cost. The unfortunate And saddening truth is that not all who were given platforms to amplify their voices are in pursuit of truth or enlightenment. Some only do it for attention, profit for monetization, and strategic provocation, or more widely known to the younger generation as rage bait. And that is not the problem in the classroom setting. As working in the academe, I encourage everyone to be a platform to change the mind of our young learners today. We need to guide them to explore the truth and untruth, because we believe we are the molders of the young generation of this nation, of our respective countries. Herein lies the problem of our digital ecosystem, that we need to consider the SDGs, our environment, not only the legal issues that we are encountering in our universities or institution. The algorithms are engineered to prioritize volume and quantity as opposed to substance and quality. We are witnessing the overwhelming growth of digital noise, a cacophony that drowns our voices of reason. We are not just dealing with rumors or gossip that is spread online. We are pushing back against vast machineries of social networks that operate with the goal of political provocation, misinformation, and mass confusion. On top of that, the integration of the generative artificial intelligence into content creation has dramatically lowered and the barrier to entry for deception. The publications of events, testimonies, and even personalities is now a mass market commodity. As the United Nations Educational, Statistic, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, have warned, we now engage in a social crisis of knowing, where the lines between organic human interactions and machine-generated are not only blurred but straight out erased. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology even established that false news propagates faster than the punctual information of an average of 6 times the speed. A disparity found to be driven large by the emotional novelty of the lie. The systematic advantage for falsehood has further been amplified by the commercializations of the platforms themselves. As I said, one of the goals of digital noise is monetization, and they are incentivized by the different platforms to realize clickbaits. Clickbaits contains a type of material that prioritizes maximum engagement and algorithms profit, regardless of their ethical or civic costs. In the Philippines, especially among good universities, we encourage and oblige our professionals, especially those who are holding the higher position or professorial rank, to engage in research with the proper ethical considerations to all papers to be presented and published in most reputable publication in the other countries or global concern. I am sure most of us, if not all of us, have fallen victim to this clickbait media, where the headlines or the thumbnail is misleading and far from the actual content of the article or video. I personally experienced this. Do you know what I did? My dear scholars, I asked my legal office, a group or pool lawyers, to investigate and make necessary correction to the part of the students, especially those who are enrolled in our mass media communication, because our obligation is to guide the young learners today and to explore and expose the reality in the real world scenario. What this does is undermine the trust for established media outlets, journalists, experts, and even in our own judgment. For us in the academy, those who are teaching in the universities, and those who are in the professions of being journalism or journalists, this unrelenting and somewhat sophisticated growth of digital noise means one of our most urgent missions is not merely to teach the reality or facts, but also to help our constituents and students to distinguish well-packaged lies from the truth at the points of consumption. And that is our responsibility and accountability. I want us to take a moment here and pause, then ask ourselves, what is the true hidden cause of this economy of distraction of the cognitive health and intellectual depth of our learners today? I am sure you have thought of so many answers. Let me share with you what I believe is the first and foremost effect on this on our learners. Intellectual starvation must under the guise of information abundance. It has been reported that the sustained attention for reading, conducting of activities, and analyzing information is increasingly difficult for learners whose minds are conditioned for the short form and highly stimulating content. Also, we can experience this in a classroom setting. Those who are teaching the grade school, you know what I'm talking about. Those Facebook Reels, YouTube Short, and TikTok videos that have 2 or 3 clips on top of each other that don't last for more than 90 seconds. It is the only form of content that matches their attention spans. And that is now the problem of the good educators, how you are going to break this and try to give the best result among your learners. And you may use different strategies, approaches, methodologies, and technique in order to preserve the good learning outcomes. And we should guide our learners to learn, relearn, and learn more things to learn in the near future. What's even worse, my dear colleagues, is that some students mistakenly equate a 60-second summary video or well-designed infographic with genuine scholarly research. convinced with themselves that they have achieved mastery over a complex topic simply by consuming this type of surface level media. Let me know first and raise your hand, those who are teaching in the academy. Please let me know. Higher please, professors. Okay, you are recognized. I really recognize Madam at the back. Thank you. Because I believe we are now an instrument in order to mold the minds of the young learners today. In other words, my dear colleagues, they have fallen victim to one of the most common policies when entering a new practice, the Dunning-Kruger effect, or even estimation of one's own knowledge, skills, and abilities. This failure to cultivate deep intellectual patience, this structural crisis of cognitive fragmentation, brings us to the core issue: media accountability in a borderless world of scenario today. This is where the widening gap between influence and responsibility becomes most critically dangerous. For centuries, the traditional press operated with accountability structure. Take note the word accountability. There are editors, publishers, professional standards, accrediting bodies, and legally enforceable ethical codes. These systems and structures were not really perfect. They never were, but what they are is visible, traceable, and capable of correction. They are a very stark contrast in comparison to the digital creators who now command arguably greater influence from CEOs of the multi-billion dollars platforms, everyday household content creators, to unscrupulous click farmers operating and shroud of internet anonymity. They have little to no regulatory system except if we consider internal algorithms and monetization as governing structures. Even then, there is no civic or ethical oversight. For example, when we speak as university leaders, when we are accountable to our supervisors, our board of regents, or our board of trustees, we are accountable to our students, our faculty members, and our nation's laws. Because in our university or in the Philippines, there are 113 SUKs in the country, and there are 15 SUKs, state universities and colleges in the Region 3, where Bulacan State University is situated in the heart of province of Bulacan. Yet, when a global platform enables the masses to distribute potentiality, malicious and manipulative materials to millions of people in a fractions of a second, who or what even holds the algorithm accountable? The catastrophic distance between borderless instantaneous influence and zero formal and public accountability is the greatest threat to public reason and democracy for today. Technological advancement are truly pace, and they have simply outrun the slow and deliberate pace of legal frameworks and governance. The obstacles of inconsistent platform enforcement is particularly severe in the ASEAN region, where splintered regulatory environments create vulnerabilities, which is ASEAN Policy Institute 2023. Therefore, in this environment where external structures are struggling or straight up non-existent, media literacy can no longer be seen as an elective or a fringe subject that being tackled away in our communications department. Since we live in a reimagined world, it must also be re-envisioned as a core form of civic defense. Higher education institution and public information and communication agencies must play a two-faceted role or task: stewards of learning and guardians of public reasons. Those of us in the academe hold the responsibility to serve as ethical foundations that the digital world currently misses. This means we must also reimagine our pedagogy. We must train the next generation of communicators not only in the technical skills to create effective media, but to interpret it wisely. Bloom's taxonomy, we need to be trained ourselves, our students, to participate. Critical thinker, good in decision making, and to interpret, to question the sources of information they take, and to discern its ulterior motive. This necessitates the integration of ethical artificial intelligence utilization and intense media evaluation, not just in our communication courses, but across every program, be it in engineering, IT, education, even in business and public administration across disciplines. We need to produce individuals who are not just tech-savvy, but also ethically grounded, who understand the movements, and of course, the moment post any information online, they are participating in public trust. It is high time that we produce research that focuses on tracing these information networks and development of transparency tools that aim to serve the public. However, I believe upper-level regulations will never resolve this problem and difficulties that we are experiencing right now. It must be augmented with the grassroots of movements toward a culture of responsible speech. As a modern society today, it is imperative that we move beyond indifferent consumption of the content. You know, educators, the endless sweeping on our phones or doom scrolling as the Gen Zs call it, to the active and conscious creation of responsible and accountable digital culture that everyone should engage. Just like all great movements, it will not be easy. It will most certainly take years to become fully realized. But as the saying goes, the best time to start is yesterday, or last year, or even 10 years ago. The second best time to start is now. Everybody, say now. Maybe it is the time for the academe, the social media corporations to have a greater, more structured, and sustainable collaboration. We can and should also move for the establishment of the global standards for content authenticity, especially with the concern of artificial intelligence generated materials. Moreover, we must actively encourage public discourse that is grounded not just in verifiable facts and hard evidence, but more importantly, in challenging and open undervalued currency of empathy or ability to understand and opposing arguments. Underlying human motivation, even if we do not agree with its premise. In the end, despite the persistent and corrosive noise that surrounds the digital generation, I still hold immense and unshakable hope for them. Our students, who are the young creators, communicators, and innovators of today, are not completely oblivious to the ethical dilemmas. They have the inherent wariness against manipulation, and they value authenticity, advocacy, and transparency in ways the previous generations, including ours, did not. And rightly so, because the fight to silence the digital noise is their battle now, but we will not let them face it alone. Through the support of our educational frameworks, we shall transform the chaos of a billion unverified voices into the clarity of a collective reason discourse. In conclusion, our goal is not to lament the past or to silence the powerful democratic voices that technology has so brilliantly enabled. Our goal is to elevate the truth that those voices can carry, ensuring that the volume of human expression does not exceed its ethical limits. We must champion smart media consumption and commit to reinforcing media accountability both within the walls of our institutions and across the digital realm. Let us accept the truth that we do not need fewer voices. Instead, we need better listeners, wiser creators, braver truth tellers who are willing to fight for reason, diligence, and accountability in the digital age. This is the only way to ensure that the democratization of voice remains a triumph of freedom and does not become tragedy of noise. Let us commit ourselves, starting today in this place, in Bangkok, Thailand, to work together across borders disciplines, and platforms to ensure that the overwhelming volume of our collective digital voice serve the pursuit of a better, more accountable, and ultimately a more human world. Before I say thank you, I would like to encourage everyone that Bulacan State University is open for internationalization. We are welcoming for the faculty and student mobility across the program of our program offerings in our university, because the focus of the higher educations in the Philippines pedagogy is internationalization. We welcoming our students and faculty to have our faculty mobility to explore and showcase what is good at the Bulacan State University. Thank you all so much. May the Lord bless us, or glory be in His name. Maraming salamat. Magandang umaga po sa inyo.